Becky Hammond said something interesting, so I think this is a good point to pivot, where she said this team, I'm paraphrasing her, but she said it probably won't look the same
Yeah,
next
it won't
year.
be the same group next year.
And I don't know how deeply to read into that, Callie, because I do think that they need changes. Um, like to me, if your core is going to remain the same, I think it makes sense that the pieces, like, the other pieces change. But do we think there's going to be a change to the core? And by the core, I mean the core four of Jackie Young, Asia Wilson, Kelsey Plum, and Chelsea Gray.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that you just listed is extended through 2025 except for Kelsey Plum. And so I think that that was what my mind pivoted to. I think you looked at yesterday's game and saw Kelsey really emotional on the court. Like we have a local photographer for the Review Journal who got some pictures of their huddle, and Kelsey kept her head tucked into her jersey because I don't think she wanted to be photographed teary like that. So there's like an uncertainty there. She's going to be an unrestricted free agent, just like Sydney Colson, Alicia Clark, and Tiffany Hayes. So then you wonder, like, can the core change, but also the bench could look like a lot different. Like
That's
who,
where
who
I expected the changes to come with the bench. But obviously, you're more dialed into this team. It seems like we're a little unsure about what will happen with Kelsey Plum. I don't know. Part of me thinks she's going to end up back there, but I really don't know. So I shouldn't say that so definitively. I do think we're not going to see Alicia Clark anymore, which is unfortunate because I think she's great. And I could be wrong and she ends up there, but she is older. And you can't be relying on her to defend a Brianna Stewart. Like that worked last year. That did not work this year. And she just wasn't as effective this season as she was last year. And so maybe in a lesser role, she can still be very great for the team. But I don't know. I think Tip would probably be a good person to bring back. But I don't know if they will. But I feel like we're not going to be seeing Kia. Well, they extended Kia though,
Yes,
right?
Stokes is extended. Yeah, she wasn't.
They might trade her. They can.
I mean, there's also the expansion draft. Like there are so many things that could happen to this team in the off season.
They can core six, but they don't have to core six, right?
No, they don't. I don't think they have to, but they can. Yeah.
I don't think there's six players on the Aces that you're gonna core. I'm sorry. When you look at the roster, are there six players that you would core?
I'm not the GM. I'm the writer. So to me, it's like, I mean, I would understand. I mean, it seems to me that Becky Hammond really, really likes to play Kia. I mean, and I'm not trying to like be funny. I mean, in those first
But
before,
likes to play her because that's who she has, or likes to play her because those are two different things. If like your options are Kia or Megan, maybe she just thinks if I have to go big, Kia is the better option.
yeah. I mean, again, like I don't know. You have to think they also have Liz Kitley loading. She's defrosting. They drafted her and then invested in her recovery. And she's gonna be a huge like difference maker, it seemed like to me, on the team as like a big center who can do a lot of things that the Aces needed this year. So it's like that also throws a wrench into what the team could look like. You add Liz Kitley, then what does happen to like a Kia Stokes? Maybe she just goes further down in the rotation, and then they did have Queen Egbo, like they signed her to a rest of season contract, and she didn't really see the court much. Like what happens with her? Megan Gustafson, I don't see her on the team next year, but again, I'm not the GM. So but kudos to her. Like I talked to her pregame before game 4, and she was just saying like, if Becky said that like I didn't have the speed to adjust to this game or I wasn't playing at the level, like that means that there's work that I need to do. She was like, I worked on my fitness, I worked on my readiness in the offseason. I'm gonna keep working. Like I want to help this team. And she was very flexible, like she went from seeing no minutes to seeing some pretty substantial minutes. And like that was like the story of her season. It was just kind of like being ready when her number was called, which is admirable. And I have so much respect for that. So like, will she be on the team? I don't know. But kudos to her for what she was able to accomplish this season.
Okay. Well, everyone knows to be tapped in with Callie Finn, the best person covering the Aces, to keep us abreast of what will be happening with this team. Something I wanted to ask Callie yesterday, but I didn't because the moment just didn't seem right. But I want to ask you what you think for the last word on this. And it's, do you think in the midst of all this hurt and pain that they're going to feel in processing this, that there's a tinge of relief just for the season to be over because they've gone through so much adversity this year, both on the court and off the court?
I mean, I think so. That was the sense that I got. Like, looking onto the court and seeing Asia Wilson like smiling, to her fans. And part of that is just like putting on a brave face. Like, y'all
Yeah,
are not going to see me,
right.
bare at all. That's why they wore the sunglasses in the post game presser and things like that. But I do think like, they were really relieved to have a question about like how they're going to spend the off season.
Yeah,
And Asia was like, I'm not going to touch the basketball. She was excited to potentially see Joker, which she noted was like terrible. And like, I think that that's needed. Asia has been very vocal and
yeah,
very vulnerable this entire season about how
yeah,
difficult this all was. I mean, we got multiple teary-eyed pressers, not just from her, from Alicia Clark. And like a lot of that was because they were going through a lot personally. Alicia
right.
Clark told me that she was still dealing with the loss of her dad. She dedicated last year, season 10, but she said that this year it really sunk in. Like she had time to deal with it, and that was hard. So she felt like when she was struggling on the court, that was part of the reason. You know what I mean? And so then you have Kelsey Plum dealing with a public divorce. She's spoken about that recently, saying like no matter what happened this season, she felt like she already won because she was struggling so much emotionally. Chelsea Gray and Jackie Young, I'm so grateful to them for being so like open with me. Even before like that last game, they both talked to me privately about what they were going through injury wise. And like, I don't know if people will understand. I really recommend watching Chelsea Gray's docuseries that the Aces made. But like Chelsea went through it this offseason and all of this season. And same thing with Jackie Young. Like I did not know she was hurt. I kept trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe she's just tired from the Olympics, but no, she was dealing with
A
an
legitimate
actual
injury.
injury since
Right.
returning from the gold medal game at the Olympics. And like they did not have to talk to me about it pregame, and they did. And like, I'll write about that soon, probably tomorrow. But like, they fought through a lot, like not just injury wise, but like emotional wise. Like, they were going through it. And so I think that now they get a moment to like take a break and regroup. And I love that for them. I heard Asia joke post game, like maybe we'll gear up for another 3P. And like, love that. But like, enjoy touching grass, as she said, for a little bit
Right.
until then.
Okay. Well, Callie Finn, thank you so much as always for your great insight. Y'all make sure if you're not following Callie already that you give her a follow because she's definitely going to keep you tapped in and just up to date on everything you need to know about the Aces. Well, it's the Liberty to the finals and they await whether it be the Connecticut Sun or the Lynx. But up next, if you're watching this, you want to make sure you check out our other segment because I will be having the Tarika Foster Brasby on with me, who knows the Sun just as well as Callie knows the Aces. And we're going to talk about that series. So stay tuned. Callie, thank you so much.
Thank you.